In today's episode, I speak to Simone Vincenzi about the top 4 strategies for visibility. He explodes the myth that being visible automatically leads to financial security. Visibility amplifies what you already have, and the ASAP formula can make a difference. Judith explores with Simone the formula and the pitfalls that can befall a business owner who doesn't have the right visibility strategy and doesn't think through their plan. Listen up to the rest of the conversation.
Maverick Paradox Magazine. The Maverick Paradox Magazine is for the pathologically curious. Written by a swagger of socialized mavericks who are divergent thinkers, the magazine tackles the biggest issues affecting maverick leaders today. You might be a business owner or a leader within an organization who wants to have your thinking challenged, to be exposed to a diversity of thought, or to learn from diverse experts in their fields. If so, the Maverick Paradox Magazine is for you. Join the swagger at themaverickparadox.com and engage in the conversation.
Welcome to the Maverick Paradox podcast, where we explore what it is to be a maverick and discover effective modes of leadership. I am Judith Germain, and my mission is to propel the maverick mindset into a world where character and integrity will ultimately have a higher premium than personality and bureaucracy. So thank you for joining me on this journey. If you would like to continue with me, then please subscribe to my podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or one of the other popular podcast platforms. And today our guest is Simone Vincenzi. Hi, Simone.
Hey, Judith. It's good to see you here. How are you doing?
It's fantastic. I'm so excited to have you on the show because you are a man of many talents. Can you share with the audience?
If you say so, I'll take it.
Yeah, I see you everywhere. I see absolutely everywhere. Tell the audience who you are. Who are you, Simone?
Well, my name is Simone Vincenzi, and I'm the co-founder of GTEx, where we turn experts into authorities. And GTEx is a community. It's a community of people that they come together to help and support each other and grow their businesses and make an impact in the world. And that's what's really important for me. I've always been the kind of person, I don't know, maybe because I'm Italian, that love to bring people together and love the idea of family. And when we decided to start our business, we wanted to create a family, we wanted to create a place where people could be themselves, that they could receive support, and at the same time be held at a high standard. So that's a bit more about me and GTEx.
Fantastic. So today we're going to talk about the top 4 strategies to get known in your niche without spending thousands of pounds on PR and paid marketing, which I know this audience definitely wants to know about. So what are they?
Well, let's create some context around it first, because some people, they think immediately that visibility equals income. And that's the more I get known, the more money I would make. Now, the reality is that if you don't have a solid structure or a good business and great offers, you can be very visible, but make no money at all. And I remember I was working with a client, and she had, I think at the time, about like 100,000 followers in different platforms, really large database of about 30,000 people. So it's not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And when I asked her, so we're doing a consultation, I asked her, so how much are you making? And she said, about $2,000 a month. And I was like, but there is something wrong here. Because I had to think about 5,000 followers at the time, and we were making $250,000.
Gosh.
So I was like, there is just something different. Why am I saying this? Because visibility is important, right? Without being visible, people will not know who you are. People will not know that you exist, what you can offer. But that doesn't replace the fact that you still need to have great offers, a good product ecosystem, clarity in what you're doing and your business strategy. And so what visibility does is an amplifier. So if you have nothing, visibility amplifies the nothingness. If you have something, visibility amplifies something bigger. That doesn't make sense.
It makes sense because I see it with people who have just started working with me, and they are very quick to, right, I want to be here, I want to be there. And you're like, but your proposition, you don't have one. Mm-hmm. Get it clear as to what you do first, then amplify it.
Exactly. And that's where we developed the GTEx method. We have 4 pillars in the GTEx method, which is clarity, which is your business strategy, conversion, your ability to convert clients, expansion, which is your ability to grow your audience, and influence, which is how you're perceived from your peers, your market, publications, and so on. So visibility is literally around the way you are perceived. The 4th pillar, which is the influence pillar, right? And so if we then amplify it, and we have something solid and a good foundation, then the strategy I'm going to talk about in a moment, they're going to make really great sense, but they're not a replacement for the strategic part of the business, having great offers and the things that you do with your clients and that you teach them to do.
Yeah. Strategy first, right?
100%.
Okay. So tell me then, so we start off with strategy.
Well, no, now that I've done this thing, we can go with the visibility parts. We can go with the 4 pillars of visibility. I just wanted to give this a little introduction to make sure that it's contextualized and people, and that's something that people wrongly assume all the time. It's like, I'm going to be visible, I'm going to make money. No, you're going to be visible. It means you're going to amplify what you have. So let's assume that you already have great offers and a good business strategy. Now, what are some of the things that you can do to get known in your industry? And there are 4 things that we have come up with, and it's called the ASAP formula. And ASAP stands for association, speaking, awards, and then publications. So these are the different strategy. Which one would you like me to start with, Judith? Which one shall we pick?
Actually, I'm interested in association because sometimes people think that means just being around famous people. Is that what you mean, or does it matter who you're around?
No, that's true. That's a great point. It's like you take a random picture with someone famous and now you're famous as well, right? You can see this online all the time. People taking pictures at an event with their lanyards because they've maybe paid the ticket to attend and take that picture, and now they think they are the king or the queen of the words. No, that's not the case. Association happens. The definition of association is that when you associate yourself with a more established brand or a person of influence. And the reason why that works, it is because we live in a society which is dominated by perception. We are human beings, right? And so if we perceive a person to be there at the top of the industry and you associate yourself with them, guess what? They're not going to perceive you as the last person that just came out, but they're going to perceive not even at the top, but your influence is going to grow, right? And so that's why association grow is important, because if you then associate yourself regularly with people that are some of the top in your industries, some of the top in your fields, can be some of your peers, right? Or some great organizations that maybe you do work with or volunteer for, then your perception and the value of your brand is going to increase. And that's what I love about association.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm wondering, though, if association needs to be backed up with credibility, because if there's all these pictures of you with all these famous people, and then you go to maybe your LinkedIn and it just says, I don't know, I'm a coach, but no detail. It's like, oh, did you pay to see them? Did you happen to be in the cinema line with these people? Then doesn't it make you then look like you're not very authentic?
100%, exactly. In fact, the fact that you are perceived as more influential on the front end is not a replacement, as I mentioned before, for the business strategy. It's not a replacement for, what is that people are going to see after they check you out. It's not a replacement for delivering, like I know some people that are great in terms of their perception, and then you go and buy their offers and they under deliver. So now there is a mismatch between what you think you are going to get and actually what you're getting. In some situations, it's actually easier not to be that well known, because if you're not well known, their expectation of someone that buys from you is not up there at the top. But actually, you can over deliver in a much better way.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know what? I'm curious what you think. What I see a lot is that you have someone who's got like a fantastic LinkedIn, they look really great, and you see online and they have this great positional statement. And then you flick over to Facebook and then they're aligned to some weird causes or have some really extreme views. And that's when association can work the other way, isn't it?
It's actually association, but that is working though. Because the fact that it's an extreme view is extreme from your perception.
True.
Right? Not for their perception.
No.
And other people that will have the same views, they will align with whatever view they have, and they will not consider themselves most of the time extreme.
Yeah.
So the idea of extreme views is very subjective, and it is actually association that works. You know, for example, let's take the US. For example, there is a huge divide at the moment because of the vaccine word, right? The V word, between Trump supporters and Biden supporters, because they have two completely different policies. And so you have a split between companies and public figures and influencers that are actually declaring openly, hey, we support Trump and we don't want mandatory vaccines. And then you have the same other big people or other bigger influencers that are saying, actually, we want people to be vaccinated because we want people to be safe and we support Biden.
Yeah.
So that's how this association and that polarity is also used. To attract people that have a similar belief, or let's say that you are a Trump supporter and I see someone else who's an influencer supports Trump, I'm going to follow them more than someone else, and vice versa.
Yeah, okay. Good call.
Good call. But that's how we are as human beings. Isn't it fascinating, Judith? Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah, it's probably choosing it with care, isn't it? I'm thinking of when people say our values are tolerant, and then you see them being intolerant, and I think that's and then you're like, well,
okay.
It's not
in that case,
right.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely, yes. Like you always got to match. Like if you say something, you got to match with your actions, not only with your words. Whatever you say, you're going to say. Otherwise, no matter how many pictures you have, you're going to lose credibility straight away.
Cool. Right, I got the first one. Hit me with
not the
your
first
S.
one. Association. Let's hit it with S, which is speaking.
Yeah.
Now, speaking, I love speaking as a strategy because, as you might know, speaking is the only strategy that is actually gives you visibility and income generation at the same time. Because the other strategies, they are more to raise the perception and your profile, which by raising your perception, is easier to raise prices, to get people to say yes, and so on. But speaking is the thing that puts you in front of your potential buyers, or you're hired to do that. So it's not only help you to raise your profile, but also it helps you to make income, because whether you sell a product or a service, or you're paid to deliver that particular talk or workshop, then you're actually earning income by speaking. And that's by far my favorite strategy. I've done, I lost count, more than 2,000 speaking engagements so far. And it has been the core ways in which we have grown our company.
Yeah. You know what I'm interested about speaking? There's so many different types of speaking. I'm guessing that you need to be sure the type of speaking you want to do is aligned to what you want to be known for and what you want to sell. Because obviously there's the selling from stage, there's speaking with information authority. Is it possible to kind of mix them all together, or is it best to have one style for one event and another style for another event?
Great question. And the answer is that it is possible to mix them all together, but not in the same situation, because every event is different, right? And also, it is possible to mix them all together, I think, after you already have an established name. If you're starting out, it's really good to pick one way and really master it. For example, what I preferred was the way of selling from the stage. Because that's what I got to expose to be. That's how I got exposed first to the world of speaking. So even by ignorance as well, that's all I knew. And so I thought the speakers were actually going to sell. It was after a few years of speaking that I got introduced to the fact that actually you have different levels of speaking models. Like you have the keynote speaker, there is the entertainer, and then you have the after dinner speaker, then you have the host and MC, and every business, the trainer or the workshop facilitator. So, and every business model is very different. Every business model is very different. So my recommendation is to pick one, become really good at it. My wife picked as a moderator to be a paid MC and paid moderator, build a great career around that. But she picked it and she worked with it. I picked the selling from the stage. Some people pick the paid keynote. And with speaking, I invite everyone to be passionate about the industry. Because at the moment you're passionate about the industry and not just your subject, that's where you can actually start studying the industry, study different business model. Maybe try and then see which one is the business model that I prefer operating.
Yeah, and I guess it's also making sure that how you speak fits what is expected. So sometimes you turn up and someone will go, right, we're going to, I'm pay 50 quid to come listen to me do this, and it's an open thing. And then it's like this heavy selling, and you're like, whoa, if I knew it was going to be selling on stage, I would have a different mindset. Or do you know what I mean? It's like that mismatch of expectations where there's a 60-minute training session where you get 20 minutes of content somewhere in the middle, and then you've got the pre-sell and the end sell, and it's like, seriously, your credibility is now dropped. Whereas if you'd said, I've got a thing to sell, come and listen to it, then you might have turned up with your wallet open.
I'm not sure. Like, I hear what you're saying. In practice, though, if you put in your marketing material, hey, I've got a thing to sell, come and listen to me, I don't think many people are going to come and listen.
You do a really soft way of doing it, though.
I got a soft way. Yeah, but it is. But I never say at the beginning, hey, or in the marketing material, come and listen to me. No, because like my expectation is if every time I'm delivering something for free, there's going to be great value in that for things I'm delivering. But also, I'm running a business and I'm going to sell something because there are going to be people that will want to hear. I think that sometimes when people live with a bad taste in their mouth is that when, as you mentioned, there is a strong imbalance between the value that is delivered and the sales pitch. And I believe in earning the right to sell. So I'm there to earn the right so you can listen to my pitch. That's my attitude, which means that I'm focusing on over delivering. And at the same time, I want to make sure you understand that I'm also here because I want you as a client, right? So I think that the clear expectation, as well as focusing on wowing the audience, like if someone had a great experience, they will never say, no, don't tell me what's next, because they will want to know what's next. Right?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I think that's you're very good at focusing my thought process, actually, Simone. So thank you for that. And I totally agree with what you're saying. It's when you're talking, it's value. There's a sale, but the value is there. Whereas I think sometimes you'll go to someone's hour thing and they do all this long welcome, tiny bit of really good content, but it's like so small. And then there's big sale at the end, and it's like,
yeah, because they're more focused on themselves than on the audience. And I made all these mistakes myself. Right? And when you see people, for example, running a webinar or you're running an event and you physically see people leaving the room because either you're not getting to the point, you're not getting them engaged, you're not getting them entertained, you're not clear in what you say, and you physically see either people leaving the room or physically see the numbers dropping. And now 50%, like I remember I did one webinar once and I tried that model where, there was this long-winded introduction 20 minutes in before getting to any content.
Yeah, that's really
annoying. I remember that 80% of my attendees left before I could actually get into the content. And that's feedback. That's feedback. That's feedback.
How did you continue, Simone? Because I know a lot of people would have just gone and completely frozen. How did you carry on?
It was hard. Like, it's hard. I've just as long as there is one attendee on the webinar, I continue, and I'll continue even if there are none.
Wow, that takes guts.
Yeah, but it's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's hard and it's heartbreaking. Particularly if you care. There are some people that they are very different from me. They just don't care. It's like whether people leave or not. But I care, and I like. I'm doing this to show up for others, right? To make sure that they have a good experience, and so their experience is really important. And so it took a lot of training and trial and error to find my way. And I think that the more the industry gets saturated, there were speaking models that were being told, where the speaking industry was much smaller, where the webinar industry was much smaller. If you think about the boom and the growth that it had, now a lot of speakers are commodities, right? Like before, being a speaker was, you are the top. You're an author. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? It was, the barrier to entry was very difficult. Therefore, there were way less people. Like, it wasn't even a job that wasn't known. It's like, when I grow up, I want to be a speaker or a trainer. That wasn't. But with social media, everything changed. With the evolution of technology, everything changed. So the barriers to entry, they lowered down. The industry, the coaching and speaking industry, boomed, and it's booming. Like, it's still growing at an exponential rate, which means that people are saying the same thing over and over again, and they're getting used to it. And so it's up to us to see, okay, how can I do things different? What do people really want? The attention span is getting shorter. Great. Get to the point faster. It's like,
you know what? It's so true, because there's amount of times I've turned up to something with like, I'm going to buy whatever they've got because I want this, because the market is so great. And then they spend 20 minutes yapping about nothing. And then you think, if I buy the thing, is it going to be full of vaporware as well? Too high of a risk now. Money, card goes back into the wallet.
Exactly. And I think that as a speaker, if you treat your audience as everyone, even if you're doing a free gig or whatever, or a free webinar, if you treat your audience as they're all paying clients, and you are delivering part of the things that the client paid you for, and what you're delivering, you're seeing from the perspective of, this is to showcase some of the best thing that I've got. Now the whole perception changes, and the perception that the audience will have about you will change.
Okay, cool. So we've got the as.
We got an S. We've got a bit of S. So let's go with the other A, which is awards. And awards are love awards because they are great for a pat on the back. It's like, okay, well done. We're good at what we do. But also love awards because they create a lot of buzz around you and what you do. In reality, I think they mean very little. At the end of the day, they mean very little to clients. They mean, unless the award is really prestigious. Like if you win the Nobel Prize, that's an award. Very prestigious. It's very different from the award that your local Chamber of Commerce gives to every one of their members, right?
Very true.
Perception is very different. So unless you get one of the top awards in the world, they generally don't mean too much, or people forget very quick. But when you win it, it creates instant buzz around your business. Even when you get finalized, like you get hundreds of comments and people say, great job, well done, and they're cheering. So the beautiful thing about awards is that leveraging that buzz that awards gives you to get speaking engagement, to get association, to get into publications. So award is almost like a key, like something that opens door for other things. It's not the end goal. But absolutely love awards.
So I guess it's the lowering of risk. So if you want to be booked as a speaker or a consultant or something, and you've won an award in that very thing, then especially if you're a corporate buyer, you can say to the finance, whoever signing it off, oh, it's okay because Simone's won like 5 awards in this, so he'll be safe to bring on board.
Exactly. I think I won about 11 awards so far. And because I make actually is one of my strategies to apply at least to become a finalist of at least 2 awards every single year.
Okay.
That's what I'm aiming for. It's like, it's very manageable to become a finalist, which means sometimes it might take 10 applications, sometimes 15, sometimes 5 applications. That you never know who you're going up against, and who are the other people that submit. Because a lot of time with awards, it depends on who else participates and submits the application, right?
What do you think about those ones when there's an award going and then you get a social media message or an email saying, please vote for me so I can win this award? What do you think about that?
I used to be annoyed at it, or to say understand why, but again, it was mainly coming from ignorance of the award industry and how it works. If you see the award as an industry, it is an industry. There are awards, there are companies. That's how they make their money. And it's not a charitable organization.
Right.
And if you see also the purpose of awards, which is to create buzz, not only for you, but basically to create buzz for the organization who is hosting the awards, then those strategies make sense. If is nothing different from watching, a final of X Factor. You have the judges vote and you have the public vote.
Okay.
They both count. The more people you know, and the more people like you, the more votes you're going to have. Therefore, more chances you're going to have. So, if you have no one that knows you, again, that's feedback, or no one can vote for you. That's feedback for you that you've maybe not built enough relationships, or maybe it's feedback for you that people will not want to put their vote, or maybe feedback for you that your audience is pretty small, right? And that's how I'm seeing it. So at the beginning, yes, I used to think about why is that, or why should I pay for awards? And now if I do my due diligence, because it's important to do your due diligence. There are a lot of, like in any organization, there are scammers. There are awards that mean absolutely nothing, and they charge a fortune.
Right.
That's on you. If you're applying, if you're spending money for those organizations, it means that you spend money not understanding where the money was going. Because if you do your due diligence and say, okay, let me see the history of this award company. Who are the other award winners? What have ended up achieving? Who am I associating myself with? Now then you can evaluate, what am I getting by being part of this award? Now you can evaluate, is this money that I'm investing to be part of this award something that can give me something back, or is it just a waste of time and money? That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah. And the perception of other people, if they know you've bought the award, will the benefit that you wanted to get by having it be eroded by the fact that people have said you've bought it?
100%. In fact, there are awards that are never going to a competition, for example, to an award where I am the only one. Well, they just give you the award just because you buy it. Right. I never go into this kind of situation, because I know that actually hurts my reputation. But if there is a process where most of the time there is a panel of judges and there is a number of votes that you get, and they both count into the point. So some people, they might win an award, but because the judges wanted them to win more than the number of applications they had. Some others is reversed, right? But if I do my due diligence with the company and the validity of the award, then it's fine. Then I know that I'm getting into something that can give me some good result and some good positive PR and publicity as well.
Brilliant. Okay, last PP.
last P of the ASAP formula is publications and media. Publication and media. I love publications and media because they already have the audience. You have organization, companies that their whole purpose is to get eyeballs. That's it. That's what media companies are. They just want to get your eyeballs so they can sell ads. That's their business model. So they need content. They need experts. They need consistent stream of new information to keep the audience that they want to build engaged. Therefore, when you're getting into this kind of organization, when you're getting into a publication, you're now leveraging an audience that someone else has built, instead of getting in front of the same people that you would normally get in front of with your own social media or your own mailing list. That's why I love media and publications, and also they are a great boost in credibility. Now, if you've been on TV or on major publications, people look at you with different eyes. And I can say, like, I remember how people were engaging with me before I got, I started writing for Forbes or Entrepreneur Magazine or got some TV gigs. And then after, I was the same person, but then people started changing the way they were talking to me. Potential clients started expecting like higher fees as well. And I found, oh, that's nice. I like it.
No, I totally get it. It's a bit like if I'm talking to someone and I'll say, you ring off where you've been. Oh yes, I've been in the Times, the Financial Times, and it's like, oh, so you do know what you're talking about.
Okay, talk to me now. I'm open to hear what you're going to say.
It's almost like saying you're credible without having to say it because someone else is saying it for you. So that's cool.
That's the power. Because it is a third party, and thank you for saying this, is a third party endorsement that you get. That's what it is ultimately. It's an established organization saying, listen to Judith because Judith is awesome. That's why we have selected Judith to talk about this topic. That's subconsciously basically the train of thought that happens.
Okay. Now that sounds like that's a good strategy. So you've got the associations, you've got the speaking, awards and publications. Why is it important then, as a final question, for having all four of those and not just going, I love writing, I'm just going to go into publications? Or could you just go, I'm taking one, I'm just doing the one I like the most, and the rest I'm not going to bother?
I recommend actually to take one at the beginning.
Okay.
Because there are skills that you might need to build to get to the point where you're great at that one thing. Right. So, for example, I got a client and a good friend of mine, and she built her entire company based on awards. She is a machine. I think she won probably about like 50 awards by now.
Gosh.
And she's insanely good at writing award applications and connecting, applying for the right awards, finding the right awards. And that's all she did. Not much PR, not many publications, and not many speaking engagements. For her, it was all about winning awards and leveraging those awards with the new prospects. Then I have, like in my case, I only focused on speaking. For the first 6 years of GTEx, it was basically just, not 6, 5 years, but a good 5 years. 5 years, it was just speaking. Bit of social media, but no publications, no article, and so on. Then people that are not a client is good. She's great at writing. She only focuses on publications. And then I have a friend of mine, another client, Matt, and he's great at building relationships. So he focuses on association. So depending on your biggest natural strength, your strength is verbal communication. Approach the speaking strategy and become incredible at it and leverage it. Then you can add the other. So the idea is to have them all, but not all at the same time. You will have it. You will build almost like one piece of the puzzle after the next, starting from the one that is more natural to you. If you're great at connecting, association. If you're great at speaking, if you're great at verbal communication, speaking. If you're great at writing, written publications. If you're great at filling out applications and awards applications, awards, right? And then build the next one and the next one and the next one. That would be probably the best and most sustainable way as well.
Yeah, thank you for that, because it's really important, because especially when you're new or you're trying to reposition the business, you can get drawn into, I must do everything. They could look at you, Simone, and go, oh my gosh, he's everywhere, he's done this, I want to be Simone, and then try to do all of it in one go, and it's impossible. You need to like really hone yourself into one and then build on it. So that's fantastic advice. Simone, I could talk to you forever.
Yeah, we know this. We know we're gonna have.
So I'm hoping at some time in the future you'll come back and talk about something else.
Oh, we got episode 2. Episode 2. Maybe conversions. Who knows?
People will definitely want to hear about that. That'd be fantastic. So thank you for coming. And now I know that you're going to come back again. I feel nice and relaxed and quite happy about that.
Oh, that's great. That's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Judith.
Brilliant, thank you. So, Simone, that was such a fantastic conversation, and I'm sure everybody wants to reach out to you and find out loads more about you. So how do they do that?
The best way is to go on our website, which is gtex.org.uk. So gtex.org.uk. But also, if you're interested in having like a database of publications and media that you can reach out to, and let's say that you want to get more visibility and you say, I'd love to reach out to some publications, media, get interviews. We have created a database of resources where you can have more than, I think it's 700 now, between blog posts and podcasts that you can reach out to with all the email contacts, the email templates on how to reach out to them, the follow-up process, like everything is there. So check it out. It's on the website. It's called the Ultimate Publicity Bundle, and it will save you hours and hours in terms of building it yourself. So then you can spend more time actually getting featured and building your profile. That's the best way to reach out to us.
Brilliant, thank you. And that sounds like a fantastic resource. So I recommend people jumping on the website, having a real good look at what you've got, and then picking the best way to contact you and download whichever bundle works for them. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and no doubt we will see you again soon.
Thank you, Judith. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Bye-bye.
The Maverick Paradox. Judith Germain is an author, speaker, consultant, mentor, and trainer, and the leading authority on Maverick leadership. She is the founder of the Maverick Paradox, which supports organizations to enhance their leadership capabilities and to help business owners develop and grow their businesses. Judith enables individuals, business owners, and organizations to improve their impact and influence. She is also HR Zone's leadership columnist, an international online radio host, and her expert opinion has appeared in national, international, and trade press.